When I'm in the studio, there's so many times I plug this in and the engineers will immediately go, "What's that instrument you're playing?" And they don't have to do anything. I mean, it just sounds great.
Doesn't it? Obviously, this is the legendary Leland Sklar, one of the most recorded bass players in history. And this that I'm watching right here is actually the video that you're about to watch. Now, this bass here is the Leland Sklar Dingwall Signature bass, and it is really unique in that the frets aren't straight, they're fanned. And in this video, Leland's actually going to tell you how he met Sheldon Dingwall and the whole experience. It's really cool. Wait till you check it out. You're going to love it. But also, why this video is also really important is that Leland is doing a special auction of this bass. So you can actually try and get this Leland bass for yourself, okay? And it's for a really important cause, the Tennessee Elephant Sanctuary, who rescue elephants, take them in, whether they've been working in circuses or on sideshows, they take them in, and then the elephants live out the rest of their lives in this amazing, amazing facility in Tennessee. Just check it out. You're gonna hear all about the Dingwall story, and then Leland will tell you more about how you can try and get this very bass for yourself. So with that said, Leland, take it away.
I'm Leland Sklar. I'm a bassist in Los Angeles, California. I've been a recording and touring bassist for over a half a century now. And when I go back and reflect, I think it must have been about 18 years ago at least, that I was walking through a NAMM show here in Los Angeles, and this guy came up to me and asked me if I would check out one of his basses. Now, normally I don't do that. It always seems weird. It feels like there's an obligation that comes with putting your hands on anybody's stuff. And they go, "Oh, no, it's cool. I'd like you just to check it out." But something about Sheldon Dingwall struck me. And he was just carrying one of his basses, just walking around with it. And he said, "Would you try one of my basses?" And I just felt comfortable with him immediately. I said, "Yeah, sure. Let's go over to your booth and take a look at this." And then when I sat down, I took a look at it and I said, "Explain this to me," because the bass has fan fretting, which is completely different than a standard bass, which all the frets would be parallel to each other. In here, everything's fanned out, splayed in these directions. So he told me about Ralph Novak's and the Novak's fan fret system and how he incorporated it. And the idea that at least I walked away with was that what this does is tempers the instrument so that it's, and he said to me, he said, "Look, you open a piano up, high strings are, the high notes, the strings are shorter than the low notes." Makes total sense to me, because normally everybody's been trying to pack all those sonics into the same lengths, where with this you have I'm not sure on this one, 35-inch maybe G string going to a 37-inch B string, but it's all mathematically thought out so that the bridge is at an angle, the nut is at an angle, and then they all come together. The thing that I thought was great about it is for years I had been looking for a really good 5-string that had a B string that actually read a note and not just a big pooh, which most of them, to me at that point, really did not have clarity on the bottom end. And a great deal of the work that I get hired for is replacing synth bass. And it seems like everybody who programs synth bass has a left arm about 14 inches longer than their right arm so that they can reach as far as they can down the keyboard. As soon as I plugged this bass in, and I just went, "Are you kidding me?" Because that B is an actual note. The C sharp, D. It reads with such clarity. In fact, there's so much clarity that on my signature model, we've put a hipshot detuner on it so that I can drop the B to an A string, and you can see the hipshot detuner right here, which is a beautiful piece of equipment. So I looked at Sheldon at that point and I said, "Sold." I said, "I think this is incredible." And we started working together, and It's been my go-to bass in the studio. It's one of my go-to basses. On the road, it is my go-to bass. I've used it with James Taylor, with Phil Collins, with Toto, with Lyle Lovett. It's just such an exquisite instrument and absolutely serves my purposes exactly what I was looking for in a bass. And I will be playing these basses for the rest of my life because they are just that good. And he keeps improving on them, which I find almost impossible to imagine, because to me, it's really a perfect instrument. And I love this one. I played this at the NAMM show 2 years ago with Judith Owen. And people kept coming up to me going, "What bass is that? What bass are you using?" And I said, "It's a Dingwall." And I try to turn people onto this when I'm in the studio. There's so many times I plug this in and the engineers will immediately go, "What's that instrument you're playing?" And they don't have to do anything. I mean, it just sounds great. Thank you, Sheldon, man. You are a remarkable luthier. I hope someday to get up to Saskatoon and see your shop and hang out with you up there. But it was really sad not having the NAMM show these past 2 years. So I'm looking forward to next year because it's a real good chance for us to get together and hang out. But I'll tell you, whoever ends up with this bass, you're going to be so thrilled because this is as good as it gets, man. This is one badass piece of equipment. So all my best wishes for it, and start the bidding. And the thing that's wonderful is that whatever you bid will go to the Elephant Sanctuary in Tennessee. That is a charity that I've been donating to now for many years. It's an absolutely wonderful charity where elephants that have been abused, that have been in circuses and sideshows and all this, they get rescued and they're taken to this place, which is tons of acreage and the kindest staff in the world, and they get to live out their lives the way an elephant should. They are an exquisite creature. I've had the good fortune on a couple of occasions to spend time in actual proximity with them. And man, when you're standing there and their trunk is in your face, breathing you, and you're looking into those eyes, man, there is one soulful creature there that deserves to be protected. And thank you to the Elephant Sanctuary for taking care of these magnificent and soulful creatures. So this is a win-win. You know, you'll get this bass, which is a beautiful piece of equipment. I wish I had it. I've got my basses, and this is an actual signature model of mine. It's got my signature there in the headstock, and then I've also signed it on the back of the headstock. So this is a Leland Sklar signature bass, but to have this bass and have the proceeds go to the Elephant Sanctuary, it just does not get better than that. And for the auction, check the link that's below the video, and that'll give you all the information that you need to get started throwing your hard-earned cash down on something really good.